So hello everyone. This is the last questions that I will cover about Chapter 7 and Chapter 8. Be aware that actually your last interview exam will relate to this material a lot. So a lot of these videos that have questions relating to this graph or this graph linked to this graph, that will all be really useful to make sure that you understand what to answer on the last interview exam. So just a little bit of a heads up there. Okay, so in this question, I want you to consider the following market in which we have a following market here and we have the typical firm here. And I want to tell you to tell me, I don't know why I put a question mark as consider this market. Is the market at the long-term equilibrium? Okay, spoiler alert, it's not. Okay, so can you explain how it will reach the long-term equilibrium? Okay, so you should have tried to answer by yourself. I will answer the question right now. The price is on both these axes. Okay, this is the total quantity traded or produced on this market. Sorry, I'm just going to slide this down so we can see a bit better. And this is the quantity produced by the typical firm. Okay, so what happens here is that initially we have an equilibrium that is right here. Okay, at this equilibrium price, I can just go straight. This should be a straight line. I know it might not be perfectly straight, and you've tried to do this for midterms exam or interview exam, and you know that it's a bit hard sometimes, but I'm trying to do a straight line here, right? That goes from the equilibrium price all the way across, okay? So that's the equilibrium price, and that's the quantity that would be produced by all the firms together in this market. Notice that the scale on this axis and the scale on this axis is completely different. Does that make sense? So this number will look smaller than the quantity here, but it's actually much bigger because that's for one firm. So it's just the scale here is much, much bigger. Okay. On this graph here, right, if that is the equilibrium, the price will be here. I can go across because price is here and price is here, right? So I can just go across to this graph, and I know that the firms would produce the quantity where the price is equal to the MC. So the firms would want to produce this quantity here. Okay, so the firm wants to produce this quantity here. Notice that this quantity is above the shutdown price. You should be able to tell me really quickly that the shutdown price is right here at the minimum of the AVC. You should be able to tell me also that the break-even price is, right here at the bottom of the ATC or at the minimum of the ATC, right? Because this price is above the shutdown price, we have positive economic profit. I would also ask you to go back because this will definitely be part of your interview exam. Go back to the video where I show how we can find the total cost, the total revenue, right? Because you'll have to show that in your interview exam. Here, I'm just going to say that we know that the economic profit is positive because the price is above the break-even price, which is right here. Okay, because the price is above the break-even price, we have positive economic profit. When we have positive economic profit, what happens on the market? Well, other firms realize that we can get positive economic profit by operating in this market. So other firm will decide to start operating in this market. It could be small producers, right? If it's a market with a lot of small producers, it could be just mom and pop shops that pop up and that grow and that starts to do this. But it could also be multinational corporation, right? Big corporation that just see an opportunity for profit. So these firms decide to join the market. As these firms join the market, what will happen whenever a firm joins the market, the supply would increase. Okay? And as the supply increase, the price on this market will shrink. As long as the price is above the break-even price, firms will have incentive to enter the market because they can make positive economic profit and it's a really good market to enter. So these firms will keep entering and the supply will keep shifting to the right until the equilibrium price is as this price here, because this is the break-even price. And we know that at the long-term equilibrium, the economic profit should be 0, right? At the long-term equilibrium, there is no economic profit because no firms want to enter or exit this market anymore. So what is happening here is that new firms are entering the market. The quantity traded on this market is increasing, okay? But notice that the quantity traded by each firm will be decreasing. Why? It should make sense. There's more firms, but each firm is selling less unit because there's more competitions, okay? And that's partly what is eating away at their profit, and their profit is decreasing. And as more firms enter, each firm is producing less quantity, but there's more firms, so the total quantity offered in that market is actually increasing. And we will reach a long-term equilibrium here. And this is the long-term equilibrium because the economic profit is 0. There is no incentive for firms to enter or exit this market anymore. Okay, so then it would be stable. There would be no movement. Okay, obviously, at some point, something will happen that will cause either the supply curve to shift or the demand curve to shift, right? It's possible that a shock happens on a different market, the market for a substitute, and it creates an increase in demand on this market. Well, now we wouldn't be at the long-term equilibrium again, so something will happen. We're going to have entry of more firms. The supply will again increase. Does that make sense? So this is not static once we get to the long-term equilibrium. I hope this helps you understand this mechanism. Obviously, we could have done it with if the economic profit was negative initially, right? It would be the same idea, but the economic profit would be negative if the price was below the shutdown price and the break-even price. And in this case, instead of having firm entry, we would have firm exit and the supply would decrease. Does that make sense? So it's possible to do it in the other sense. Make sure you know how to do it in both sense. You can email me or you can contact me on Collaborate if there's any issue and you want to learn how to do that. Make sure you're comfortable with that. Okay, thank you very much.